I fell in love with shadow work the first time I went through a shadow work weekend, and I was just blown away by the sublime nature of the facilitation.
Yeah.
It was different than what was happening on a New Warrior adventure training weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was much more subtle. It was much more like a scalpel. And so I went to my first training and just absolutely loved it and fell in love with it and realized that I'm kind of good at this.
Yeah.
Like some of how I work fits in well with this.
Yeah. Phil for you. So for each one of these episodes, Phil fails at something.
Yeah.
And the on the nose thing for us would be Phil fails at shadow work.
I think it's great.
Or Phil fails at shadow.
Well, so Phil failing at shadow is about Phil and Phil's shadow, and we can talk about that, right? How might Phil fail at with his shadow?
Yeah.
And then Phil failing at shadow work is more about how does Phil fail when he's trying to grow using shadow work.
We should do shadow work then.
Okay.
Maybe.
Great.
And as a part of this, there's this curiosity I have in what a relationship might look like over time. How we could develop a discussion that is longer than this one interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about having, folks that come on over and over again, and we get to develop the topic, but also a relationship.
Yeah.
That's something that's exciting to me.
Great.
I like the one-offs, but I'm always seeking that compatibility. And that's something that you'll ask yourself, and I'll ask you, and I'll ask myself.
Yep.
Is this a place where that is fruitful, or that is something that happened?
Yep. I'm all about that kind of connection if it works, and being aware of it and being honest and open about this has a good fit, or maybe it doesn't have a good fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I think the two-way street is, we get to expose a lot of folks to what you're excited about and your artistry.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine shadow work facilitation is an art.
It's interesting you say that. But I see myself as a technician in some way.
Huh.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that.
I'll hold on to that one.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. And then I get the benefit of mentorship.
Yeah.
And I get the benefit of a personal relationship, and also of sharing this content that I'm excited about with people.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's that symbiotic relationship where everyone's benefiting, that win-win-win from a 7 Habits of Highly Effective People perspective.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Yeah. So we'll do Phil fails at shadow work. And the format is I do the 5 questions on shadow work, where we'll talk pretty extensively about that. Sometimes it's in question format. Sometimes it's always conversational, but sometimes I do like question 1, question 2, and sometimes it's just a conversation that lasts 45 minutes or however long.
Great.
And then in the middle, there's a kind of a fun and play section where we do improv games. Just a kind of a sorbet or a relaxing fun time to be silly.
A little palate cleanser.
That's right. Because
I worked in fine dining when I was young.
Okay.
And we used to actually, one of the restaurants I worked at, we served a sorbet palate cleanser between the appetizer, salad, and main course.
Yeah. And that leads us into the second half, which is your life story.
Okay, great.
What has brought you to dedicating your life to supporting folks, supporting dyads, and supporting organizations, supporting men as a whole?
Yeah.
Like, what has brought you there? I imagine you're a seeker. For some reason, I must have a seeker in my bag because I attract them. Most of the people that sit in that chair are seekers. I myself am a seeker.
Yeah.
So learning about that through the lens of spirituality, mysticism, and philosophy, kind of ideas of being separate from the whole or being unique, definition, redefinition, transformation, and
Well, your shadow, I mean, your seeker is not really in shadow. It's right up in front. It's in consciousness, and it's right in front. It's present.
Yeah.
In what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really clear that you're a seeker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is true. So that's the lens with which we'll kind of explore your life story. And we kind of start at the beginning when you were born, and we go all the way as far as we go in the time we have.
Wonderful.
The thing that I'll share is, having done this a lot of times, sometimes folks will leave that chair, leave this house, this studio, whatever, and they'll have regrets about what they shared in this dyad. And they say, oh, because I was so safe and comfortable, it allowed them to share things and experience a level of vulnerability that then they have concern about, ruminations about, and they're met with shadow. One of them actually said, like, I had to do a lot of shadow work after leaving your chair because a lot of things came up for me, and I was scared about what it would look like to share those things with the world and really my loved ones, my mom or my dad or my sister. And so I preface at the beginning that all this stuff is recorded, and I want you to feel happy and comfortable with what happens here. I don't want you to leave regretting the things that you've said, or, it's a tightrope I walk because I want to expose vulnerability, authenticity, transparency, and honesty here to reveal the human experience in all of its beauty and kind of messiness. And at the same time, people could share that and then have regrets or a vulnerability hangover.
I don't have any concern about that.
Okay.
I mean, I think in the role that I throughout my journey, growing into what I do now, I've put myself in those situations in and around people all the time to talk about things that aren't easy to talk about.
Yeah.
So, and I have a good censor. If there's something I don't want the world to know, I won't talk about it.
Yeah.
So none of that concerns me at all. I don't see myself as the guy that comes back and says to you, hey, wait a minute, I didn't really want to share that.
Yeah, makes sense. And if there was something that you really didn't want to share, if it was a small thing, I would take it out. If it was a big thing, I'd be like, oh man, I don't want to take it out. Goodness, that was good stuff.
I don't see that being an issue here.
But, it's a relationship we have, so we'll navigate that afterwards.
Yeah, it's our first long conversation, so you never know what comes up.
Heck yeah. That camera's the one that's pointed at you, so if you want to talk to the people, you can look directly at it and you can talk to them.
Great.
I mean, we'll have a conversation, but you can always kind of break the third wall and talk to people. I do it sometimes. That's the one that has both of us in it, so if you want to look at that one, you can too.
Great.
It's a pretty open, comfortable environment to do what you want to do.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm finding myself relaxed here.
That's good.
And I think a lot of that's just where I am in my life at this point.
How old are you?
62.
Where are you in your life right now?
Well, in that context, I'm at a place where I'm not driven by fear the way that I was driven by fear for a long time. And so I'm in a place of really reconnecting to zest for life. I kind of disconnected from that for a while, and maybe wasn't connected to it for a long time in my life. And that's why fear was my driver. And so I'm just much more grounded and relaxed in who I am and myself. And so I'm not nervous. And so I'm relaxed in situations where I wasn't normally relaxed in the past.
Yeah. Well, I like your style.
Thanks.
Have you noticed?
This is my wardrobe of choice.
Yeah.
I wear black t-shirts now just because it's easy.
Yeah.
When I do some video, I might wear a dress shirt or something, but this is what I wear.
I wear the dress shirt version.
Yep. You look much nicer.
It has a collar.
You got the bee outfit on.
Yeah, like this.
Black and yellow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Was there anything you want to share before we get started, or before I do kind of like the opening?
No, I think Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce you as Craig Tennant,
Mm-hmm.
a certified shadow work facilitator, coach, and organizational consultant.
Perfect. That's perfect.
And Phil Phails at Shadow Work. That'll be how we
like
do
it.
All right. Put this there. Can we clap together?
Yeah, how do you want to clap together?
Well, back in the day, you don't have to change any of that stuff.
Okay.
Oh, well, you can if you want, but back in the day, they had the
Gotcha.
that would like, and we don't really need that anymore.
What do they call it?
Um,
It's not a clapper.
it's I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, but it's
a take thing.
Yeah.
Take one, and they would use that so they could sync the audio with the video.
Gotcha.
And we don't really do that much anymore because this editing software now is pretty good at like taking the waveforms and figuring things out. But I have used it. Sometimes the waveforms are a little bit off, or one of the cameras doesn't record audio, or something weird happens. And I also like it as an attunement exercise at the beginning because we clap at the same time.
Okay.
You can just do it kind of out here. You ready?
Mm-hmm.